welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret Carlton. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hope y'all are doing well. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I'm here with the wonderful Nick Hunter. Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, hello, everybody. We talk about the FileMaker platform here every day of the week. Well, okay, not every day of the week, every work day of the week. So 5 days out of the 7 days of the week. Currently with Nick, we're in the middle of a fundamental layout design series. We are on day 8. So, real quick, if you'd like to support the channel, we'd greatly appreciate it. We have our FM training bundles. You got 3 options. You get the majority of videos in each one, but I think that it's about 100 plus hours of video content. I will talk about this real fast. I say this every time, so I know my regulars will get sick of hearing about it. But if you are new here, if you do not like the live stream format, we do stream for an hour a day every day to talk about the platform, but it's also very conversational. It can have questions. We will sometimes wander off topic because, someone asks a question and our presenter decides to answer it. If you need very focused answers about very specific topics, you're going to find that in our video training. It is highly animated. It is very edited and short and well done. I think the longest video in some of the video training, in some of the official video training is maybe 30, 40 minutes at max. Most of them are in the 3 to 10-minute range. So, if you would prefer that kind of style of learning, I invite you to get the video training. With that all being said, hey Nick, what are we doing today?
Hey Marge, hello everybody, thank you for joining today. So today we do another day with the design, right? And so this week we built custom objects, custom layout object, right? And we talk about some limitation we have with the out-of-the-box object, from FileMaker. And so we cannot use them for everything. So we need to come with a alternate version of the object we have. So we talk about tab control, right? That we cannot use the tab control of the one delivered by FileMaker is outdated and a little bit too simplistic, let's say, and not customizable enough to reach the modern time standard, right? And to reach the modern time or design, let's say, guidelines, right? Because we want to get to produce things that looks good, behave well, right? We we built an accordion style object, which is very, useful, and we are actually doing a replacement of the button bars, right? Not saying that we need to replace a button bar again. I'm not saying this. What I'm saying is for some application, it's not a good object, right? And if it's limited, it's great. If it's, or something simple, is great. Button bar is a complex object. Button bar is not easily customizable graphically. You can do a lot of things with button bars, but you can end like having weird behavior, especially with the over and stuff like this, right? So we want something easy to use and heavily reusable, right? So the reusability. So I remember when I was at Claris FileMaker Inc, whatever, I produced a documentation for them that was quite huge, and it was the CEO of that time, Dominique Goupil, French guy, right? That drove, was the captain of the at the helm of Claris since the 90s, right? So he called me and said, "Okay, I need this. I need a document about reusability of object because this is something FileMaker lack a lot, right? Um, they pretty much took it and trashed it. No, they didn't trash it. It's just that is something they didn't want to take care of right now. And then the guy left, and then we know all about the story about studio and all the money they waste on, like they say in Latin America, tonterías. Okay, and I'll let you translate what that means. And so, but we can do our stuff, right? Yes, I know it sounds like why do I need to do all of those things? Why I don't have an object? Well, you will be surprised that if you use another platform, you'll be surprised that you won't get that much of a help. I remember so let me share my screen because it's important to know that because sometimes you say, okay, you're a filmmaker. Yeah, but it's not like we are unique in the world, right? So let me explain what happened here. Back in the day, I was working with our engineers, FileMaker, and they say, "Oh, Nick, you designer, and you know this stuff here. This stuff here. You know what I mean? So this object here,
Yeah.
this part setup. Okay,
Hmm.
they wanted to redesign it, right? And they asked me to do it, right? And they say, okay, what platform do you want to use to redesign it, to create it directly with C++/Xcode, right? So I said, I don't know what the best, platform. You say, oh, okay. Well, if you use C++, that means PC, you will have no help whatsoever. You have to design, to draw the window, you have to draw the button, you have to create every single thing because the platform doesn't have anything for you. Doesn't give you blip. Start with an S, right? If you use Xcode, yeah, you have a lot of library and stuff. So that means, so on X plus on C++, if you want to do something, you have to borrow online and you have to download online. You have to go to bring your stuff to borrow things, buy things, download things because the system, the environment give you squat. Okay, so I was quite uh, surprised about this because it was the first time I want to do something like this. I was surprised and somewhat happily surprised that yes, our other platform is not that gitful that what you think, right? So it's not unusual that we need to build our own object, and here the object we build like the an alternate version of the button bar. I'm not saying a replacement of the button bar. I said an alternate version when you have much complex things here, right? And so that that parenthesis that I want to talk about because that's true is we're not alone in the world that we need to build our own object, and so that being said, let's continue this object here. So you see here, that good. So I build like this, right? It's pretty much the same, right? So I built this. We built that yesterday, using records, and we can split in two, and then we have here one entity for those buttons here with the title. I show you how to build the title, using layouts or calculations and using fields as code repository instead of using, or instead of creating a field for each object. No, you have one field and one object in a portal, and this will evaluate whatever code leaves into the field itself. Okay, well, that works pretty well. So now I want to enhance this, right? And I want to put a button. I want to put an icon here because that's possible because I can do it here. I can put an icon here, right? I can do this, right? And I can put an icon, right? So that totally completely possible. But here I want to do the same thing. I want to be able to put an icon here in front of that object, right? I want to put an icon, right? So how to do that? So first, we go here and we are going to put an icon So here how I'm doing. For icon, we need a container. So let build a container, you know, icon, a container icon. It's a container. Create it. But this, I need two icons, not only one. I need two icons per buttons. And I'll show you why. So since I need two icons, well, I don't want two containers, right? I don't want that, right? I'm going to have two repeating fields as a containers, correct? Two repeating fields. So that will be my icon, okay? My two icons, because I don't want two container, it doesn't make any sense. So now I have here, I can add in this layout here my icons, right? And I need two icons. So let's present that as, right? Let's present that as this. I hate this apex piece of bleep. So let's go back to what I like. So this is an icon. We have two repeating fields, right? So I can present that horizontal. So I have two repeating fields, icon one, icon two, right? So now I have this and this. I have two icons here, right? I'm pretty sure here is that, yeah, I can have this too here, but it shows better here. So now I go to my favorite website and I organize that for you based on what I have here, which is current date, name type, some names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until 8, current time. So I download icon that represents what the title means, okay? Something like this. So here, I have one version of the icon. I have the black icon, right? I have the black icon. So I'm going to download, right, this collection here, right? So let's download this as a PNG, right? So yeah, we want something with a great quality, right? So I typically download 256 if the icon is not too big. If you want bigger, you can do this. So we can download a 512. So that downloaded. So now in my downloads, right, I have my PNGs. They need to be PNGs, not SVG. SVG is when you want to add the icon here. Here. This accepts only SVG, when you create here. But this is not what I want. I want to put that inside a container. So it needs to be an SVG. So that one version of the PNG, sorry. Now I want to edit this. So a flat icon is doing that for you. Okay, so we can do that with flat icon, and that's why I recommend to use that website. I'm paying $10 a month, and so it's not a big deal. I'm using that site all the time, so they deserve the money I pay because it's a good website. So I'm going to edit that icon here, right? And I'm going to change the color of that icon. And I'm going to put it white. Okay, right? So I'm saving that to the option I'm saving this to the collection. So I did the 8. So let's do the same for the 7, right? Oops. So I'm going to edit this, right? Should have done that before, but okay. And I can download the icon, as I do it, right? So I'm doing this one. So I edit. Before they had an option that was awesome. We could redesign an entire collection, but I don't know if they buried the option or they delete the option. I don't know. So I download this here. So this is the point here, right? I'm going to do all of them. Take some time. I should have done that before, but it's okay. I can do some, and I will finish the full set for you before I give you the file. I don't know this one. Okay. So now I have icons here, the clock, 7, right? So now if I go to my downloads, I have the 7 whites, this one, right? So now that I've done this, let me do one more. I have those. Yeah, let me download this one, the 8. Why I can download the 8? Okay. So let me do it again like this. And you have at least 4. I like this UI, by the way. So that's something I borrow. So you have a first popover, right? And you have things like this. This is a good UI, you know. So I borrowed this, and I can reproduce that for you in FileMaker if you want. This is the great UI. Okay, so I can hide this, close this. So I have my 8, my 7. Okay, and here I have my black and white. Okay, so now I'm going here. So I have the 8. Where's my 8? Number 8. I have my 8 black, right? My 8 here, right? And this is my 8 here. And I'm going to drag this icon here. This is my 8. I also have the 7 somewhere, right? And I'm going to drag here. Then I have the clock, which is time. I have the clock, and I'm going to do that in current time, right? And I have the users. Where's the user? Yeah, this one. I have the user where I can put it here. So I put in David Edjon. It's the same icon for those. Those are users, right? Users, right? And then what do I have? 7 multi-clock. No, okay, that's all. So now this is the black and white. This is the black version. And now here I'm going to drag the white version. Okay. Yes, I know we don't see it, but I'm going to show you how to do that. 7 and the multiple users. One here, one here, one here, and one here. So to prevent that to happen, you put the background of this a little bit gray. And now you see both, even here. Okay? So now you can see the icon black and the icon white, right? So do we have any questions so far before I go further?
Yes. What happens when you press the orange collection icon that comes up when you hover on the icon?
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's removed from the collection. So when you add an icon, when you search an icon like I don't know, add, you search an icon here, and you want to say, okay, that plus here, I like it. You add to collection, you know, you copy to the clipboard or you download directly. So if you add, now you can remove.
Got it. Yeah, they said, oh, I was hoping it would be en masse editing. Is there a way to edit all of them
Eh,
at once?
okay, they had this option before.
Oh, they got rid of
Uh, yeah, because it was there. We could edit collection, uh, change color collection, something like, and they removed. They removed the option. I have no idea.
it.
I don't know why, duplicate, they did, they had it before, and maybe, I don't know,
It's hiding somewhere else.
maybe it was something like, maybe it was something like, they didn't like, I don't know. Maybe they had problem with this. But before uh, they had this option and I couldn't find it anymore. So I have no idea. They have an
Got it.
API though. They have an API.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, other questions?
Nope, not that I see. So you're
Okay.
good.
Okay. So now that I have these two icons here, right, on one container, I want to I want to use that here. Mhm. So I'm getting the icon is a button list, right? Button list. Okay, we have an icon button list here. So I'm going to button list one. This is the icon, right? And this is the first. Show the repetition from one to one. I could have said from one to two, but this is not what I want. I want one at a time, right? So we just make that icon without background, right? And text, we don't care, right? Correct? So that icon. And I put this icon here and I put it here, that field, okay? Right? So that the icon one, that will be the black one, the icon one, that will be the black one. So I want the black one to go away with this object. They tag together. When this object shows, I want this icon. So what I do, I select this hidden object, I cut it, I select those two objects, I group them. Those two objects is grouped now, is one object. And I want to hide those two, this icon, right, with this object at the same time. And I will put that on the back later. But now I want this icon. I want also the second one. So I duplicate this object, right? I put this one on the back, go away. And I want now the second icon. You see, when this object shows, you understand that I want the white version of the icon here, correct? So the second one, so how I do, I go there and I say, show from 2 to 2. So the first one was 1 to 1, and now I'm saying, show me the 2 to 2. So one icon at a time. But that would be the white one, correct? Oh, I have the spinning wheel. I don't know why. Oh, because I have the other file open. Uh, Sometimes happen this. So hopefully going to release me. Okay. No, doesn't want to release me. Come on, release me. Okay. This is because I have another shared file open and oh yeah, so I should have closed this. Okay, so now I'm putting that object here. Okay, but I want to make sure this object is aligned with the other one in this group, right? So you see here, right? I want this object here to be aligned with this one, right? So without messing up here, you can use this option, right? So here, this one is on 378, 127, right? So I was closed, So now they both align, those two objects. So now I want to remove that hidden object here, group those two, and then make this, and put that on the back to get this first, correct? Right? So now I get this, right? Get this. So I can do the same here, right? So you take one object here, but this comes from the button list 2 because it's another relationship. Button list 2. Okay. Put here. I do the same trick. Copy this. Cut, group, paste, and duplicate these objects. What the coordinate of this object? 27, 129. Okay. I hope I will remember. Send to the back. Get the second icon. Oops. Right. Put it here. 127. Well, perfect. I select this, cut, two objects, group, and paste back because, they tie together, right? It's important to do the grouping thing. So I'm going to explain that to you, okay? But first, I want to show you that it works, right? So now I have this. So let's say you say, yeah, but the icon is too big. Okay, so how you can, make this icon smaller? You put a little bit of padding on the icon, and that will make it smaller. So 1, 1, 1, 1, right? You had those two objects. So you select those two groups here like this, and then you hide them. And then you select this, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, and same here. 1, 1, 1, and 1. Smaller, right? Time 8, 7, right? So now we have a perfectly working icon. So now you understand, right? So I'm going to come back to the hidden state on the group and stuff like this. It's important you to know. But first, I want to finish this topic. So now you understand how easy it is to customize those objects because it's based on the record. So you create a record, you put the title you want, the icon you want, boom, you have your object. It will come like this, right? So it's not at all complicated to duplicate, replicate, and reuse those objects everywhere in your solution. It is absolutely not complicated to do it. it would have been extremely complicated to do with this because you need to go and select the icon and put the icon here, right? And click plus, select the icon, and do that for all the object. Good luck with this. It would take forever. It's not meant for that. That object here, I told you, 10 segments and that's it. More, it's a nightmare, right? And if you want to replicate that object, it's very complicated. Now, this technique of coding that I'm showing you, we call that object-oriented coding. Object-oriented coding. Yes, this is how Xcode, C++, Java, this is how they do. Or oriented objects, object-oriented coding practice, right? We can do that with FileMaker. We have records, right? In other platform that Java they call library. In FileMaker we call that table, right? But that's the same technique. You put your code, put your icon, and you use it, right? So if I want to duplicate this object, I just need to create records, paste the character I want or the title I want, and put the order I want and the icon. So now you understand that this is heavily and very fast, heavily reusable and fast. And of course, it works perfectly. You know, I mean, you have no lag and stuff like this because we don't, it's simple object, simple poll, right? So do we have a question here?
We do. Is there a simple way to force the time to consistently recalculate?
It's doing. I mean, to recalculate, it's doing it each time I click it.
I think they mean like without you clicking it.
Oh no! You want like a clock?
Yes, I think that's
No,
what they're saying.
no, no. It will calculate all the time. Then when you come, poof. See, it's at 58, and if I go and I come back, poof, 3404, right? So the date as well will get recalculated each time you click or each time you come, the date will come, but not consistently, right? Not consistently. For that, you need an on timer. And you don't want that. To have an on timer every second, you don't want that to happen. No, we can't, we can't doing this. And you want this to also, you could do that. I mean, you could, if here you put like a web viewer.
About to say, could you like a web viewer and like zoom in on the
Yes.
part where the clock is happening?
No, yeah, you can do that with you can put a web viewer with a Java piece of code, and then yes, that will work. You can, but well, will be like yeah, I can find somewhere because you can put the code here, and you could say, for example, okay, let's say it's good. It's a good practice. It's good actually. Let's say I don't have the code here, the Java code, but let's say you want this to be a Java code, right? You want. So, and then and ergo, you want this text to go away and to be replaced by the website, right? I put nothing here, right? So you want a web viewer, right? So you remove the padding of the web viewer, you remove the background, the border and the background to be transparent, right? And you put that here on top of this, right? So now here I have two objects. I have this one and this one. I have two objects, correct? I have this one and I have their what's the name? So let's put the web viewer with a background like gray. Okay. So I have the web viewer and underneath I have the text, right? And you want to alternate. So how you do that? But very simple. Here you add a new field that you call tag web viewer. Viewer, right? Web viewer, right? So it's a web viewer. It's a tag, so you put a number, right? And you add this here, tag web viewer. And you say, for example, this, yes, it's a web viewer. Okay? And the other one, we don't care. Put 0 or empty, that's the same for FileMaker, right? But this, yes, it's a web viewer. So now here you said, okay, on the bottom is 2. When do you want to hide this? When I don't say, when this said 0. So you say not tag. That means when the tag is negative, when the tag is false, 0, hide it. When it's 1, don't. Right? Ergo, now you copy this and you said, when do you want to hide this? Oh, when the tag is web viewer, I want that to hide. Right? So now, well, here I have my web viewer in this one, but not on this one. See, it shows here. If I say, oh, Marge, I want that to be a web viewer, so I'm going where here, and I say 1, poof. Now I have a web viewer here. Yeah, it doesn't show, but anyway, get the point. You know? Oh yeah, but we cannot put a web viewer in a poll. Ah! Yeah, we cannot do that. This object is not. We cannot put a web viewer in a poll. We can't. Sorry, guys. We can't. Doesn't go in a poll. So forget about this. But yeah, it's a little bit like too much to me. But I try. But no, we cannot. Sorry. So
Well, we give it a shot though.
yeah, it's I forgot about the web viewer in Portal is
I
not
totally
possible.
forgot about that until you mentioned it. It was like, oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. So let's delete this and let's remove the code here because now this one is broken. Boom, boom. Right. Anyway, other question?
No, you are good for the moment.
Okay. So let me explain this hidden object group stuff. Okay. So let's say I have two objects, right? I have this object and I don't know, I have a field, right? So I have this field and I have the background, right? Let's say I have this. I have this. And I want all those objects, right? I want the whole thing to go away together, right? So you can do this, select the free objects and say, I want to hide the free. So what that means, 1, 2, and 3 objects we'll have to, so you have, see the I here, that means it's a hidden object. Okay. So you, depending on how crazy the calc is here, you will have one, FileMaker will have to evaluate that calculation 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Right? So 3 times, it will have this, it will have to do the calc to hide the object. See, it's gone, right? If I remove this, if I remove, for example, the calc from here, well, it shows fields, right? So you need to do the calc 3 times to hide the object. And I have my field here. Okay, well. But if I want to hide this with only one calc, because I don't want to repeat 3 times the same calc, right? So you select the object and you group it, right? So you go, where's the grouping here? Arrange, group. So you group the object. So now you have one object, one composed with 3 objects, but it's one object. On that group, I can put my calc. I have one unique calculation, not 3, and hide it. Right? Correct? Right? I have only one unique calc. So that's why you need to use groups when you want to hide. So here, even though the calc wasn't a big deal, okay, this is not a big deal for FileMaker. It's not going to, you're not going to get any dent in your performance, but still, right? Instead of, here I have 2 calcs, the calc for the blue and white and the calc for the gray and black. I have 2 calcs instead of 4. And if you have another one here, instead of having 4 calcs, you have 8, right? It's exponential, right? So then, yes, you start to have, let's say you have a complex layout, right? And you want to build this, right? And well, you can have 20, 30 calcs for a hidden object. Yes, in that case, you're going to start some problems, right? Because it will evaluate that calculation each time you load a record. You go from one record to another, you create a new record, you delete a new record, you come to that, you enter the layout, it will calculate those 30, 50, 60 calcs. You understand? So yes, it's important you understand that. So now, let's say you want to do the same thing, right, with the conditional formatting. Well, you cannot. Conditional formatting is coming from a time, is coming from a time where, well, the FileMaker didn't know what they were doing. This is coming from the 80s, right? Conditional formatting is there since FileMaker 2.0. So yeah, it's an old technology, right? It works. It's what? Okay, let's say I say, for example, I want both, to say length, the length of the fields strictly inferior or equal of 3. And I want the text to be read on both, right? So I select the 2 objects, right? And I'm applying the conditional formatting on the same on both objects, right? So here I have now 2 calcs. It doesn't apply, right? I mean, and it works. I mean, if I do this and I say like this, poof, right? If I add one, poof. I have four, now I'm good. If I have three, I'm not good. You know what I mean? So something like this. Okay. Let's say now I group that two objects and I apply again, a conditional. I can't. It's a group. I can't. And even though, you know what I mean? I can't because it doesn't allow me. I can't go and put a conditional is grayed out. I can only if I go to the group and I select those two objects, then I go conditional and I can do again, the length of field, you know, uh, free. Well, now it works, right? But I have two calcs. So that means FileMaker will evaluate those two calcs, right, to do the conditional formatting. So that means it can be costly. And I know you guys, I know you got problem with this. You have crazy calc in the conditional formatting and it's ruining your performance. Each time you come to a layout and boom, you have this spinning wheel, Okay, I know you guys, you encounter this. So, and also, conditional formatting are great, but with limits. They are great for example, here they're great. One object, conditional formatting, when this equal this, which is very, very, basic, right? Yeah, that works. I can use conditional formatting. But if I have something like this, and the calc a little bit more, right? I'm not using this technique. I'm not. I get rid of this, right? I select this, I group it, correct? And then I say, I duplicate this. Two versions, one red and one not, correct? Here I said length field inferior than 3, right? I had it. Inferior or equal to 3, I had it. And this one, I say strictly superior of 3 to go away, right? And I stacked it. So now I have the same as a conditional, correct? Correct. But I don't have the impediments. That means I have only two calcs, right? But not, you understand? So it's a better way to do that. Okay, my example is simple, but let's say you have a more complex object. You understand what I mean? Right? I mean, I want to show you that you have an alternate version of this, of the conditional formatting. And you have more freedom, you have more freedom here than, the conditional formatting. You can do much more, okay? Also, so now I have two objects here, right? So I have this object has a conditional, this object has a conditional, right? But let's say now I want the whole thing to go away if field 2 equal Nick. If field2 equal Nick, I want this to go away. How do I do that? Knowing that, okay, that easy, I can select this object and say, okay, field2 equal Nick, go away. Okay, so I can do that on this object here. In this one, I say, okay, I put Nick here, and the background will go away. Boom. What about those four, those object, field and stuff like that, the field, how those? So you say, okay, this, or you can do something like this. We work, right? Field equal Nick. It will work. It will work. You know, if I do that, let's say I'm doing this, right? It's gone. If I do this, it comes. But this is too complicated. This is way too complicated to do something like this with the or. Because let's say you have complex, because you can have complex calculation here. So let's say you have something complex here, and then you want to add another complexity, instead of doing this, right? Instead of doing this, you have the calc here, you have the calc here, and then you group the whole thing, and then you put a calc on the group of objects. Ha! Yes, you can do that. So now I have the whole object go away from when the field2 equal Nick. And inside I have this object that goes away if the field is more than 3. Demo. Right? So that makes everything simpler. When you have objects, okay, that you want to hide, right? And before we go to the question, since we are in the demo of the hidden object stuff, which we have a webinar on this, right? Marge, hidden objects.
Yes, we do.
Okay, but I want to finish this. Sometime you want to optimize your code as much as possible, and you come here to learn the best technique. You don't want the quick and dirty, you want the best. Here it's cutting seg cars, right? We don't sell Chevrolet. We sell Koenigsegg cars. Okay, so and that's why you come here. But you don't make the check for the Koenigsegg. Well, I wish you could, but okay, but you don't, and so we do with this. So I want to optimize my code because here, for example, I'm not very happy because here I have 2 calc and I want to optimize. Okay. So here the technique to optimize the code. You understand that this goes away when this comes and this comes when this goes away. Okay. So I name this field, this object here. I'm going to name it because now this is a group. And I can give a name on this. Okay. And this is active, okay, active field, right? I mean, is the black field, the active field, it's the good field, active field. Okay. And this is the other one. I don't give the name. I don't need to give a name on this, but this is the active field. I have a name on this. Okay. And now I want to hide this object automatically when this one on the condition of this one. That means when this one is hidden, I want this one to show. When this one is show, I want this one to hide. But I don't want this object to have a calc like this. This is too much. Twice the calc. You don't optimize your code. You don't. It's too much. There's another technique here. Okay. And the technique here is to use this. So maybe I can show you something maybe you don't know. Get layout object attribute. You select, you go here, you select, you type the name here, you select the function and you click on this icon here. It goes straight to the help and straight to that function. Did you know that? Who didn't know that?
I, huh?
So you go there, you say, let's say I want the get,
Yeah.
I want the get as number. You select it here in the calc dialog and you click here.
Huh.
You open the help directly to that function.
That's nifty.
Cool. I told you here is Koenigsegg. So now how this stuff works, okay? We have we can get from a given object, we can get many attributes. That's what they said, get layout object attributes, okay? The attribute I want is this one, right? I want to know if the object is hidden, right? Is object hidden? So now I'm going here, I'm selecting this. Remember, I named this object active field, okay? So this is how it works. I say get layout object attributes, object name, active field. That's my object name. Attribute name, this, right? But remember, it's a hidden state. I want this to hide when this one shows. This return when it's hidden. So the trick is you put not. Not reverse everything that follows. If you put not in front of this, it will reverse how this works. Now this will say, it will return 0 when this one is hidden. That means, you understand? It reverse, because this will tell me, is this hidden? Yes, but I want to know when this one is shows. When this one shows, I want this one, right? So let's copy this and I show you. So now it's a calc that costs absolutely nothing in terms of performance. Absolutely nothing. Before I have 2 times the calc, and sometimes the calc here can be tricky. And it's extremely complicated to reverse because this calc here was the opposite of this one. But now I don't give a damn because the state of this field will tell me if I need to show and hide this one. Demo. So I remove this here and I put this here. So the second calc cost me 0. So I have only one cost for those 2 objects. And of course, I can have as many, hold on, as many time, as many objects. That will cost me 0. So I can have one calc and then I have all of those following, you know what I mean? So I can have one hidden stuff, right? If I change this, poof, uh, right? Understand? If I do this, they come because they're not part of the same group. But you got the point. I can have many, and the cost is 0, right? So now I can put that here. So now I have an object that costs me nothing, and I have multiple calcs, multiple hidden state in the same object. The whole thing changed with this, and this two does have one. This one will drive the state of the other one without any cost. Okay? Questions?
Not at the moment. Just people saying that this
Okay.
is a very clever technique, which is true.
Okay. But that's why we have, okay. Why we have those? I mean, why FileMaker give me the opportunity to get the hidden state of an object? Why? Why they did that? To use it, and why you need to know the object if it's hidden for that. You understand? So that's why we have those things. Otherwise, I don't understand why they put that here, right? But sometime you see that you've seen this, right? But you say, whoa, why I need that? Oh, I'm telling you why you need that, right? So pretty much, most of the time, I have a button like this. I have a validate button, right? What? Where the I have a validate button. Don't remember what here, right? I have the validate, and then I want, which it shows if if my stuff is ready to be validated, or I have another one, a gray version or deactivated version when it's not ready. That means this one will have a script and this one won't because it's not ready. I need to fill, let's say you need to fill up 5 fields and you filled only 4. Well, you're not ready to validate that. So I'm using that technique for this. When this shows, hide this. When when this hidden, show this. Right? This is the technique I use. Okay, so now, okay, I explained to you the hidden stuff. We have the icons, right? So now we have a pretty, nice button bar, more evolved than this one. Not saying that this one is not useful. It is, but this is it. This is good. Tomorrow, we're going to continue on this, right? Because something missing here. Maybe I want to do something. When you click here, you want something to happen, right? When you click here, you want something to happen. You want to trigger a script. Each time you click here, you want to trigger a script, right? Like this, because here I have a script. I go there, I have a script. I can pick a script and put a script here, but I want the same here, right? In this option. And of course, not only I want the script, but I want the script parameters, right? Correct? And I want this too. I want everything here, right? So far, we use this, that we took care of the icon, took care of the title. Now we need to take care of this, right? That we need to do. So that's for tomorrow. If we don't have any question, we can dock the enterprise?
No, I think we're good to dock the Enterprise, and I have to unfortunately go on a vet visit anyway. So,
Okay.
thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Nick, for presenting. We will see you tomorrow.
See you
Uh,
tomorrow.
y'all have a lovely day.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
No.